Rob, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
I guess as the clock ticks down, let's maybe assess the mood of the camp and the intensity as well. We've seen a fair degree of sharpness and a bit of accident training we've been hearing.
Just one of excitement. I think when you look back over the last 6-7 weeks to get to this position where we are at the moment, we're disappointed that we lost a few players along the way. But we've been from a full selection this week. Obviously our R&R down in Queenstown was something which everyone enjoyed, and it's that focus on the intensity and the challenge that we've got on Saturday, and we're looking forward to that. I think that we're up against World Cup champions. We almost said from the start it's playing the 4 test matches on the bounce, and we've continually improved game on game. And I think that the session this morning, there was intensity, there was clarity, and I think that's a challenge for us is to learn from last week in terms of we want to keep pressure on the All Blacks. We put ourselves in a little bit of a hole last week, and we got ourselves out through our experience and through our clarity and thinking under pressure, and we have to be better this weekend. And we spoke about that from a defensive perspective this morning, and it's a week which the players have refocused, and it's a good place where we are.
From your point of view, with your role, how much do the Lions still kind of hopefully have up their sleeve in terms of that potential to evolve and have 1 or 2 new things to throw at the All Blacks for this decider?
Yeah, we've got some obviously players up our sleeve. I think that as I spoke to you last time, we've continually worked off the field in terms of the pitches and the shapes we've seen defensively from the All Blacks. Obviously we've got to the outside edge a couple of times, and we've shown good intent, good ambition, and obviously early on in the tour we were disappointed in the chances which we were creating, which obviously many of you picked up. But I thought last week, in terms of our clarity and ruthlessness, we were quite clinical. Look, we've got into the All Blacks 22 7 times, 3 in the first half, 4 in the second, and we've come away with 18 points. And we need to improve on that. It's not often that's a challenge to a test team when you play against a side that's experienced as the All Blacks, that you have to take every chance. And it's going to be a great game to be involved in on the weekend. It's something special.
And finally, from me, obviously keeping your own house in order is key. But what are you expecting from the All Blacks, particularly given their changes?
Much of the same, really. I think that obviously the kicking game is always a key element of the game. Obviously, the experience they brought in on the wing in Sevilla, I got no doubt you'll see him. Whether it's in terms of width in the wider channels, being a kick option for Barrett from 10, or obviously coming off 9, as we saw in the first 2 tests. And the key component which was missing from our first game was physicality. I thought you saw that in abundance in the second test, as well as skill. And we need to have those 2 qualities on the weekend to challenge, as I say, the best team in the world at the moment.
Rob, you mentioned how you didn't get into the 22 too often. When you did, you came away with points. That's almost the complete opposite to how things were at the start of the tour. How pleasing has that been for you in particular, that you've worked on that ruthless edge so much? Yeah,
it's hard sometimes. I think when you look at the first 4 or 5 games, we were held up over the try line about 8-9 times. I think when you look at general stats, like the number of line breaks and you're creating, it's just that composure under pressure, and I think that we certainly showed that last week, and we have to be better again. It's the final game. It's 1-1 in the series. By the very nature of the game, there's not going to be too many chances. We've spoken about it being a World Cup final. There may be 1 or 2 chances, and we have to take them. And I think we're all aware of that as players and as coaches, and I think it's something you embrace. And we certainly, it was really difficult weather conditions last Saturday as well, and really delighted with our intent, our ambition with the ball in hand to get to the outside edge and create the opportunities. And I thought the Toby Faletau try summed up our mindset. We've gone wide and wide, and we scored a try, and let's not forget that they'd lost a player. They're down to 14 men, which obviously makes it a little bit easier. But in those conditions, probably when you lose a man, it's not probably as maybe not as major a weakness as probably in dry conditions. So we're mindful of that, and we've spoken about that, and it's just making sure that we've concentrated on ourselves this week. We want to get better in every component of the game, which will be asked of us on Saturday. And attack is an element whereby we need to have balance and territory. I'm sure the All Blacks will be saying the same. It's going to be pretty key early on.
And when we talk about the emotional, motivational side of things, as a player, you experienced the whole range of emotions in '97 and 2001. Do you and Graham Roundtree, do you bring your own lines experiences into play at times like this, 24 hours before a game?
I think when you look at the 23, and obviously it's unchanged, there's 9 players who experienced 2013. When you look at the number of caps we've got within that team, it's a lot of experience, and in big games, Sir Ian McGee can always quote about the big test match players, and they'll be key on the weekend. And I think I've always said, and I think I said it last time, is about trusting your players and the experience that they bring. They've been there. Some have been on 3 tours, some have only been on 2, and I think that experience that they have, Alan Wynne, achievement on the weekend is something which is very special. He joins a unique group of players. When you look at the likes of Mike Gibson and Willie John McBride, Gareth Edwards, for Alan Wynne to achieve what he's done on the weekend is something which, it's magic, isn't it? It's quite unbelievable.
Just following on from that question from Chris, as coaches, do you have to, in the next 24 hours, ramp it up with the players, or do you try and calm them down? Are they sort of tearing the wall off at the moment, or are they quite...
No, I think from obviously the weekend, it's been R&R at the beginning of the week, and the players have grasped it this week, towards the end, that Johnny and Connor, Owen, Maro and Alan Wynne, and then you've got Mako, players who've been on the tours that they know what needs to be done. They know how to do it. They've been there, and I think that experience is vital. It's about getting your processes right, but mentally, that emotion will come naturally on the weekend. But it's making sure that we're in the right place, physically, and that's the key part of this week was making sure our bodies are right, and over the next sort of 24 hours in particular, we'll be getting our mindset right. Rugby's an emotional game, and I think you saw that last week because we got the physicality component right, and that will be key at the top of the tree on the weekend.
Are you gathering together either tonight or tomorrow just to force home the...
No, not at all. Obviously, we'll have a players' meeting at some stage tomorrow. It'll be quite relaxed. I think you see players at their best when they're relaxed. They know how big the game is. It's a game of rugby. It's an important game. It's about creating history, yes, but we all understand that. Players play best when they're relaxed, and that will be the key message from us.
Well, you said Alan Wynne, his achievement and the size of it, is it made even more special given Warren said after the first, Warren kind of challenged him to get back to the best after the first game, and obviously he did that.
Yeah, well, that's the experience of Alan Wynne, isn't it? And I think that Alan Wynne spoke about his own performance over the last 4 or 5 weeks, and in adversity you find out about players and coaches, and he's been able to dust himself off and mentally get in a place where he needs to be. And I thought you saw from a physicality perspective and his decision making last week, it was an excellent performance. We probably need to go another level in every department, and we all understand that, and Alan Wynne has been outstanding. Obviously he's a very intelligent rugby player, and the balance of that second row with Maro, with his energy and his physicality and skill set, is something which almost said over the last 12 months, when you play New Zealand, the point of difference is the front five. It's the skill set, it's the energy and what they bring. and at this moment in time we feel that we're matching them in that area, and which allows us to play, which was important last weekend, and that's a challenge once again. It's a new game and it's a new story, and that will need to happen on Saturday.
And Warren was talking yesterday about how potentially it's a role reversal in that the All Blacks have maybe picked a team which maybe has one eye on what you're doing and trying to contain you. How much confidence can you take from that?
Oh, the players, look, it's about playing the game that unfolds in front of you, and certainly, as I said about earlier, that we've solely focused on ourselves, and I think that it's important that we learnt the lessons in terms of discipline from last week, and probably putting ourselves in a little bit of a hole in particularly 15 minutes after half time, and making sure that doesn't happen again. And players have spoken about that, and the key leaders in Owen, Johnny and Connor and Maru have talked that, and I think that it's just making sure now your decision making and your clarity in how you want to play the game, and that's at the forefront of our minds. So when we get out there, that emotion is going to come naturally, and it's having that clarity of mind and being relaxed to then make sure we're able to execute under pressure.
Kieran Reid's got a big achievement for the All Blacks coming up this weekend. Can you talk a bit about how special he is, a special player he is, and the dangers he poses to the Lions?
Well, obviously Kieran Reid has been instrumental in the All Blacks over how many years, and to achieve a 100th cap is pretty impressive. He's obviously a key leader. He's a huge focus for the All Blacks. He's obviously an excellent captain. I got no doubt he probably leads with both actions and words, and he's instrumental how the All Blacks want to play the game. You obviously see Kieran out in the wide channels. We've probably seen him more off 9 over the last couple of weeks, and I think that they probably want to get him into the wider channels as often as possible, because having a skill set and having a low number against a high number in those wider channels with a good skill set can be very, very effective in the modern game.
The Jonathan Sexton Arnold Farrell combination was one that you arrived at a bit later. What is it that you gravitated towards them, and do you think they've got more than what they showed, particularly on attack last week?
We're not sure what that gravitation looks like. I think that what you've got is the ability to read body shape and numbers in defensive line and opportunities. Having those two key decision makers, are very experienced international rugby players as well, with both Ireland and England, and obviously Owen having played a number of international games for England at 12. It allows you to play, whether it's the conditions in terms of a kicking game, but the intent with the ball in hand, and it's a team attack. I think that's really important, because ultimately, whilst their decision making can be really good and accurate, it depends on, you have to have numbers to play to. So the contact area is pretty important for us, and I think that was where we sort of made some really good strides last week. We were accurate in the contact area. I think we were very smart as well, and that enabled us to have numbers to play to. And if you've got numbers to play to and you've got decision makers on the ball making right decisions, we can improve in those areas, and Johnny and Owen have spoken about that this week. So we don't know what point or what that looks like, but we're desperate to get that point, and that point when we need to achieve that on Saturday if we're going to be successful.
Rob, how has this tour developed you as a coach? How resourceful have you had to have been over the last 6 weeks to bring new ideas to the table to take on this test series?
It's certainly every session you learn as a coach, and in terms of the experience of players you're dealing with and the other coaches, you certainly learn and understand more so about what is needed at the highest level to be successful. I think that is understanding players and getting to know those players very, very quickly, because I certainly believe you're only as good as the players that you have, and it's getting to know those players and the elements of their game which they want to bring to the party. And as we said at the beginning, we feel when we arrived at these shores in terms of selection, we had a hugely talented group. So it was down to all the coaches to bring the best out of that group in every department. And as I said earlier, to arrive at this point with something which I think we can be 20 or 30% better. Whatever that looks like, I'm not too sure, but hopefully you'll see that on the weekend.
So do you feel you leave the tour as a better coach?
Absolutely, 100%.
Rob, you mentioned Alderman's 9th in a row, it's a 6th in a row for John Davis, and his stats are pretty impressive on this tour again. Given the quality that's been there with O'Driscoll, Jamie Roberts and the current lot, do you think he sometimes kind of goes under the radar as an international? He
probably likes to go under the radar, John. He's very quiet, he's very unassuming, but technically and tactically he's very good. It's important that he's a huge role in that connection in the wider channels, and I think when you've got the back three that we have in terms of pace and the ability to beat players, we need to put those players in that space. John facilitates that very well, and I think that you've seen that with the ball in hand. He's very physical. He's got a very good outside break, and he's got better and better. And I think that probably when we arrived, was it 6 or 7 weeks ago, because he was involved in the finals of the Pro 12, that he was given an opportunity later on in the tour, and I think that took a lot of patience, and he's shown patience, and when he's been given the opportunity, he's taken it, and that's what you want from Lions players. He understands that, what the model is like, and he's taken his chance with both hands, really.
Because also, are there any plans for anyone to come in and present the shirts before the game?
Not at this moment in time, no.
Is that a positive in terms of, Andy Farrell was talking the other week about in the back end of the week when the players to lead things.
Yeah.
Is that a positive in terms of them actually managing to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that players play the game; it's their game, and I think that the one thing which Warren Gatland has almost challenged us as coaches is challenging the players. And using their experience and their talent and trying to get the best out of that, and we feel we've done that over the last couple of weeks. And it's been a don't get me wrong, it's been a tough challenge. Particularly early on in the tour when you're fielding 3 different teams and trying to put policies and principles in place. But we think we're getting there, and we can get better, and we need to improve on the weekend.
In your experience, Rob, is it really much left to be said? An hour or two before kick-off tomorrow?
I hope not. I think that the excitement, and you can see a glint in the players' eyes today in training. Warby got them into the circle after. There's a glint in their eyes since Saturday night in Wellington, and that glint hasn't gone away because they know they can create history on the weekend, and that's the challenge and the realisation of where we're at this moment in time.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.